The Taliban has this morning said the war is over and that the militant group are in talks to form an open, quote, and inclusive Islamic government. Now, plans appear to be on hold. Yesterday, they said they would declare the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan from taking over the presidential palace in Kabul, but now we are waiting for that to happen. Of course, they say those talks to form that open government are taking place. Of course, this is being met by great scepticism from UK and international leaders. Now, I will just point out the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan was the name of the country under Taliban rule before they were ousted by the US-led invasion after 9/11. Now, let's look at the control that they've taken of Afghanistan. This happened yesterday. They entered from the outskirts of Kabul into the centre of Kabul. They had been preparing for a peaceful transfer of power to a transitionary government. However, this has not gone that way, and it's led to Westerners, diplomats and local allies are heading constantly overnight. We've been seeing shocking pictures of them trying to flee from Kabul airport. People have reported being crushed there. It's just really shocking what we're seeing. The US this morning has said they are taking steps to secure the airport to ensure as many people that are eligible to leave can leave. Now let's look, Kirsty and Simon, at the Afghan president, President Ashraf Ghani. I spoke actually to an Afghanistan man this morning here in London, and he says that pronunciation for them is actually Rani, Ashraf Rani. He confirmed that he fled to Afghanistan to avoid bloodshed. Now, I've got a quote from him. He put a statement out on Facebook last night. He's actually reportedly in Uzbekistan. However, that's not fully confirmed. If left unchecked, countless patriots would be martyred and the city of Kabul would be devastated, resulting in a major humanitarian catastrophe in the 6 million strong city. He went on to say the Taliban had made it clear that they were ready to carry out a bloody attack on all of Kabul and the people of Kabul Sharif to oust me. In order to prevent a flood of bloodshed, I decided to leave. This morning, we have, as you mentioned, heard from the Taliban. Spokespeople have been tweeting this morning. They say they assured all embassies, diplomatic centres, institutions and places and foreign nationals in Kabul will not face any danger. They insist they are after a peaceful transfer of power. But of course, this has been met with deep scepticism based on their 1996 to 2001 rule under harsh Sharia law. This morning, as you said, Suhail Shaheen, he is a Taliban spokesperson, said the Islamic Emirate has ordered its fighters and instructs them no one's allowed to enter anyone's house without permission. Life, property and honour of none shall be harmed but must be protected by the Taliban.
Amelia, what's the government's response to what's going on?
Well, quite right, Simon. I mean, Boris Johnson, the latest, obviously he held that emergency Cobra committee meeting yesterday afternoon. He has vowed to rescue British nationals and those who have worked with the UK as fast as he can. He says he's determined to work with allies to prevent the country, in a quote, becoming a breeding ground for terror. Of course, we heard that Parliament's been recalled from their summer holidays on Wednesday from 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. to discuss this. The House of Lords will also sit from 11 in the morning also to discuss this. The Foreign Office has said that they've reduced their diplomatic presence there, but the British ambassador, Sir Laurie Bristow, is still in Kabul under a reduced amount of people there from the British embassy, helping to process applications for people to leave. The Foreign Office says they are doing all we can. Of course, we heard that Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary, has returned from holiday. He received condemnation for not returning sooner, but he said in a tweet he'd spoken to Pakistan's former Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi and shared his deep concerns. Now, Simon, I just want to briefly touch on what is actually happening on the ground in Afghanistan. I know we've been showing some pictures this morning, but, you know, the Taliban have had an absolutely lightning offensive. They have taken control of Afghanistan in just over a week. No one quite thought this would happen so fast. Some did, but like the US didn't. For example, Reuters news agency was reporting last night that several explosions have happened in Kabul. Now, the Taliban are firmly embedded in the city. They have control of 11 districts, in a tweet from the spokesperson last night. Looking at the airport is becoming a centre for escape for people, but commercial flights have been suspended from Kabul airport. Only military aircraft are allowed to operate. They've been flying in and out. People there have reported the constant drone of choppers coming in and out, rescuing military people and diplomats there. Yesterday, actually, US citizens in the airport were told to take shelter. They were told by the US Embassy that the building was under fire. Now, the latest on that is that we know the building so far is not under attack, but of course there are fears that this could soon change. Looking at whether there have been any casualties or injuries from reported conflicts and clashes in the city. Emergency and aid NGO there providing healthcare in Afghanistan actually said over 40 people yesterday afternoon arrived wounded at Kabul airport. And the latest from the UK's response there at the moment, Simon, is that 600 troops arrived there overnight. They're helping 4,000 Britons and eligible Afghans to leave currently.
And Amelia, I mean, we're looking at these pictures, especially the ones at the airport. It's a dire situation. What are the fears now going forward that the Taliban have taken over?
Absolutely, Kirsty. Actually, I have overnight been speaking to a British citizen who is, as he says, trapped there. He's been to the British Embassy and says he is struggling to leave. He says to me that they are fearful there for their life. I'm told that they're being put under a curfew. However, this hasn't been officially confirmed, and I will look into this through the day. But of course, this is, the end of a 20-year over 20-year Western attempt to prop up Afghan security forces and to rebuild and remake Afghanistan. People are rushing to leave the country. We had reports yesterday that people were lining up at banks across the city in Kabul, hoping to remove their life's savings in order just to escape. As you mentioned, there are fears that the Taliban would reimpose a brutal Sharia regime. It virtually eliminated women's rights. We know during their rule from 1996 to 2001, before they were overthrown by that US-led invasion, women couldn't work, girls couldn't go to school. And as you mentioned earlier, I think it was you, Simon, that punishments like stoning, whipping and hanging were commonplace. But as I've been looking into this, soldiers, ex-servicemen who served in Afghanistan have been starting to speak out about their thoughts on this. Hundreds of British soldiers were injured and killed in Afghanistan, and some are now posing the question, what for?
And Amelia, I'm just wondering where you are, if there are any messages of support outside the embassy building this morning.
There are actually, Simon. I don't know how much you can quite see behind me, but there are 4 or 5 flowers and post-it notes that have been pinned this morning to the doors. I've got some quotes here from them. One of them, particularly poignant tribute, has been posted on the wall that says, "Dear Afghan brothers and sisters, we are sorry for what's happening to you. We are not giving up on you, we promise," followed by 2 little hearts. Another one says, "This is to let you know that another Afghan was here. Stay strong, Afghanistan." The community here in London are clearly really coming together and wanting to show their support. And I'll finish on another one. Another says, "In memory of all the Afghans who lost their lives or suffered." Simon and Kirsty.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.